Not wasting even a second or a minute, I now begin with our presentation on what Toastmasters is and to answer to all your questions, all relating to Toastmasters. Here we go, everybody. Let me know if you are able to hear.
Say hello to Roger. Roger loves his job. On most days, Roger is a happy man. Today, Roger is not happy. His boss just told him he has to give a big presentation to the executive board. Roger has glossophobia, speech anxiety, the fear of public speaking or of speaking in general. Glossophobia is the #1 fear. According to most studies, people's #1 fear is public speaking. #2 is death. Death is #2. Does that sound right? This means to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy. Jerry Seinfeld. At Toastmasters, Roger found a supportive group of friends ready to help him improve his speaking and leadership skills. With the support and feedback of his fellow Toastmasters, Roger gained the confidence he needed to overcome his fear. Oh yeah, remember that presentation to the board of directors? Roger aced it.
I hope you all enjoyed the video and you all saw what really happened. Going further, so what is Toastmasters? Some of you must have heard of what Toastmasters is before, or some may not have heard. Toastmasters is a worldwide non-profit educational organization that empowers people to become more effective communicators and leaders. We are a network of 364,000 members in more than 16,200 clubs across 145 countries. Toastmaster International is an effective provider of dynamic, high-value, experimental communication and leadership skills. Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. I am Avantika, the Vice President Membership at Bombay Toastmasters Club. Thank you for joining this open house session today, where we have all our speakers and members becoming more confident leaders and speakers of tomorrow. Taking you ahead, let me tell you once more what Toastmasters is. A worldwide non-profit education organization that empowers people to become more effective communicators. A network of 364,000 members in more than 16,200 clubs across 145 countries. An effective provider of dynamic, high-value, experimental communication and leadership skills development. What does Toastmaster benefit and how does it benefit a member? Maybe that's the next question that you may have. And if that is the case, here are your responses. It helps build confidence for public speaking. Let me tell you, my dear friends, public speaking is not about going on a platform and speaking to 1,000 audience or more. It is just the normal conversations which we have all the time, all in a day. The public conversations which we have. Toastmasters helps us build confidence. It helps us give a platform to practice and be aware as to how we can present ourselves when in public. It helps someone become a more effective speaker. How do you become a more effective speaker? Toastmaster gives you smaller elements to check about. We'll come into detail in our further slides. It helps us improve presentation skills. It does not ask you to come and deliver, but also sees how well you delivered, how good hand gestures you used, how good vocal variety you used. And that's all what we see in a presentation, isn't it? It helps you meet your professional goals. What happens at corporates? We all go, we all present ourselves. We present the best versions of ourselves, and that's what we try for. Why not have a playground to practice that? Toastmaster gives you all of it to practice and be the better you to be present to the professional world. It helps you network with others and build a connection. As I told you, it's an organization that's spread around countries. It's very simple. Any other Toastmaster you just go and converse to, they will have everything relatable to talk to you. And that's how you build connections, isn't it? Have a relatable topic to chat about, converse about, you become friends. And that's how we get a huge, huge platform to network. It helps improve leadership skills. The meeting you are part of today is all because there was a group of people who decided what's going to come next. How is it going to be planned about? How is it going to flow? And what are we going to speak? It's a group effort. It brings in leadership qualities to be accountable, to be responsible, to be all well prepared for what you are to deliver for the day. And that's what builds us with practice, the leadership to also be accountable, responsible at our workplaces. Moving ahead, what does the Toastmaster learning experience offers you? So Toastmaster learning, as we saw today, the meeting of a club is divided into three parts. We have prepared speeches being delivered. There are meeting roles that the members take. Also, what they in all have is a great, great learning in a day and a great learning time. There is no designated teacher in a Toastmasters meeting. Instead, the learning happens by doing a particular task, such as giving a formal speech or fulfilling a meeting role. The purpose of the meeting role is to help the member improve their speaking and leadership skills by providing feedback and evaluations. Further moving on, in a Toastmaster meeting, there are 7 meeting roles that members get to try and go for. Toastmaster of the day, who is followed by his team of 3 important members: the accounter, the grammarian, the timer. Followed by, we also have 3 more roles, namely the evaluator, the table topic master, and the general evaluator. Talking to you in detail what each role pertains to. So every meeting is started by the president of the club, who introduces the Toastmaster of the day. The Toastmaster of the day is the host of a meeting. The Toastmaster of the day begins by introducing people who will fill other meeting roles for the day during the session. He or she works like an MC to the meeting and keeps the flow smooth and on time. The club uses the next role player called the arc counter. The arc counter is the one who helps to document the number of filler words members use while speaking. At the end of the meeting, the arc counter report presents how many and the other similar words each speaker or the member in the meeting must have used. This helps somebody to keep a track as to how their language is flowing and to become more aware of unintended use of words or sound that make the speech a little disturbing. The next role player, as I tell you about, is the grammarian. The grammarian in a meeting helps members expand their vocabularies. One of the grammarian's duty is to provide word of the day along with its definition and an example of a usage in the sentence. If a member uses the word of the day or says something very well, the grammarian makes a note of it. The next, which I want to talk about, the next role player is the timer. As the name implies, the timer records the exact length of each speech. He or she uses the timing cards to help speakers stay within their allocated time limits. You must have seen 3 color cards being flashed behind the timer of the day today. The green saying you have qualified the minimum speaking time. The yellow mentioning that we have come to the mid of qualification and disqualification of the time. And the third being the red card, which says we have reached the disqualification time. However, there is some grace amount of time which is provided to each speaker in a meeting. So that helps time the speech and time the entire meeting and the flow of the meeting. The next, as we saw, there are other 3 meeting rules, starting with the general evaluator. The general evaluator in a meeting takes notes throughout the meeting and reports them back to everyone, giving specific feedback on how well the flow of the meeting flowed and also on how the meetings can be improved in the times to come. The general evaluator also calls for the report of the hour counter, the grammarian, and the timer. In every meeting, there are members who present speeches. As we saw today, we had 2 prepared speakers in a meeting. These speakers do not just take a random topic to speak. Instead, they make use of the guidelines as per the pathway objective to their presentations and reach the objectives by delivering their speeches. Now, if you are thinking what pathways is the education roadmap which each member is allowed to choose and pick up for what reason they have joined Toastmasters. It gives them a proper roadmap as to how they can develop and reach to the objective that they wanted to achieve through Toastmaster Club. Every speaker who has prepared speeches in advance enjoys one of the Toastmasters' greatest benefit, which is the evaluation. So now, if you are thinking, what is evaluation? It is just like thinking of a friend watching you practice a speech and then give you helpful feedback. The speaker usually connects with their assigned evaluator before the meeting and can ask the evaluator to pay particular attention to the aspects of the talk. After all the speeches are done, the evaluator presents their feedback in front of the club. They cover areas such as, did the speakers really use the hand gestures properly? Did they control their voices throughout the speech? How did they do especially well? And what were some of the ideas of improvement for them into their next speech? In addition to the prepared speeches, as we saw today, we also have something called as the table topics. Table topics are a series of questions or small similar speaking topics which are presented to members and guests to volunteer themselves and to respond to topics on the spot. This is an excellent training to those situations that comes up in each one of our lives. This only helps us to learn the trick of thinking fast, to be spontaneous, to be spontaneously responsive to anything that comes our way. It might be a job interview, a sales meeting, or maybe a family get-together or a dinner party. Table topics are a great platform for practicing this skill and honing the skills of impromptu speaking. Thus, at the end of the meeting, the best speaker, the best table topic presenter, the best evaluator, and the best role bearers get their certificates, and that's how the meeting ends. Thus, in Toastmasters, as you see, we have a very supportive and collaborative environment where people are supported to grow, to nurture themselves by practicing, by getting feedback, by getting opportunities to have leadership roles, take up the leadership roles, be a mentor to someone, learn in an interactive environment, and be contributive to the club growth and to the growth of oneself. Talking about Bombay Toastmasters, we are one of the oldest clubs in the city, and here the leaders and speakers are groomed together for their progress and their growth in the times to come. At our club, we have members who have been past area directors, past district directors, and have also participated in multiple events at international and district at national levels. And that is how our club and our organization of Toastmaster at Bombay Toastmasters really work. But let me tell you, dear friends, the learning doesn't just end at the club. In Toastmasters, we are also facilitated with many other resources, like the subscription to the Toastmaster magazine, which is a brilliant read for anybody who is part of Toastmasters to learn experiences, to learn from what the past Toastmasters or the current Toastmasters really have to tell us about. It helps us generate more ideas, it helps us improve ourselves a little better by reading experiences and by reading stories. There are speech contests at various levels in Toastmasters that one can participate in. There are conventions which happen internationally at district level conferences, which anybody who is part of Toastmaster fraternity can join and be a part of. We also have access to multiple resources which are available at toastmasters.org to really explore and learn the different facets of a public speaking and leadership skills that one may be looking for. And if this is what your goal was, let me know what is your objective of Toastmasters is and what do you really look forward to learning after joining this platform, all in the chat. I am waiting for your answers. Thank you so much. And with that, I come to an end. The room is now open to all of you for any question and answer that you may have for us to ask, and we will be able to answer it to you. Thank you.